He's finishing that last one over here. I'm calling it the last. So hello. So we are working on another project today. It's not a new project. It's a project that we've already done. So part of our homestead plans changing means that Terry is moving. So Terry is moving from that side of the property over to this side of the property. So we are putting in, so we're basically moving the play area right now. So we're re-auging the holes out. One of the plus sides of having to move it is that it's easy. We've already done the play area before. All the boards are already cut. And this side of the property has a lot less rocks. So Elijah was able to get all the holes auged out in like no time. So I'll show you video footage of him auging the holes. But with us having to also move it, we have made a few design changes to it as well, because we've been able to use it on that side, figure out what we want. Even though it wasn't fully closed in, we were still able to get a feel for the spacing. And so we did end up increasing the spacing of it. So it's still 10 foot deep from front to back. That's something that we were like, okay, this is great, enough space. But we did widen it for it to be about 22 feet. The current one that we have is 15 feet wide. And we just felt like it wasn't enough space. By the time we got the grass in there, it didn't really give us a good cooking, area type surface for, when we set up a grill and all that kind of stuff. So we did make some changes to that there. I'll give you an overview of what it looks like right now. And then Elijah's heading over to go grab the laser level so that we can go ahead and make sure the holes are the correct depth. We've auged out all the holes except for the 4 corners. We're going to wait to aug those out because the stake is staked right there in the corner instead of me moving it. So I'll show you guys an overview and then we're gonna get back to work. I'm hoping that it's a little hard to see it because of the sun. There we go. But this is the new play area that we are building for Terry. So those are the holes that we have auged out. It's a little bright because the sun is starting to set right over there behind the mountains. But that is what we have done so far. This time we did go and get the little marking spray paint to mark the ground to make it a little bit easier for us. But yeah. Okay, so as you can see, we've already started deconstructing over here. So we pulled down all the mesh. We just have it in a pile all over here. And then all the screws that were holding the mesh, we went ahead and put those to the side because we're just going to reuse those and put them into the same holes. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just get these all dug out really quick. We already taken the screws out of these, so these boards just pop out easy. So yeah, we're gonna get this entire area taken down. Okay, so after a lot of pulling and a lot of digging and a lot of yanking, all the posts are gone. And so right now, we have our slats over here. All of our slats will be able to reuse. These two are going to be used on the longest side, like we had before. These ones will end up having to trim down a little bit shorter because since we made it longer, the spacing is now shorter in between the post. And then those are the ones that we pulled out of the ground. I don't know if you can see over there, but Elijah is toting 4, being Mr. Macho. He's carrying 4 of those over to that way. So, I guess I will see you guys when we get back to that side. We went ahead and got it all auged out, everything except for the 4 corners, but we did level out all the holes, so all the holes are the same depth. We used our laser level like we usually do, But the sun is starting to go down, so we are going to head inside, and then we'll come back out tomorrow to hopefully get all the posts in the ground, and then get all the slats installed. And then we'll have to go get more slats for the addition that we added on, and then slats for to make the gate. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. We're not going to show you every single part of this, probably until we get further along, because you already saw us build it on that side, but we will still show you some of it. But we will see you tomorrow. Okay, so this is what we have completed so far. He's finishing that last one over here. I'm calling it the last one, but it's not really the last one because we still have to do our 4 corners here, and over there. But similar style to what the previous one had looked like. This right here is a 3-foot spacing between here and where the edge of this one will be, and this is where our gate will be coming in at. And then Terry will be butt up against these ones. We're thinking about auging out the holes and then pulling up Terry before we put the post in, so that we can get basically Terry as close as possible to the post, because where we have it now, Terry's pretty close, but he's probably about that much difference from where the posts were before we took them out. So we want to kind of get it nice and snug, because then that's less material. But right now they are all in solid, but we do have to just finish tamping the rest of the dirt. We put them in the same like we did previously, so Elijah went ahead and tamped them about halfway, and then we just have the last half that we'll have to do, and then we'll set that corner and that corner, and then I think we have to get 3 more of these little galvanized brackets. Oh, and then also, if you notice, where the posts are in the ground now this time around, they are very low. I think they were pretty much up here, so we're probably going to end up moving all of the brackets up to about here, and then we'll just use the same mesh that we used previously. Alright, so with all these being in the ground, we're going to check and make sure that the slats will fit into the spacing that we have. Based on my calculations, we should have just had to trim them down a little bit, but you never know. You never know. So we're planning on getting more wood anyway, so we're going to test that out and do a test fit, so that we can figure out exactly what will not fit and how many pieces that we'll need to go get from the store. But we'll also need pieces so that we can make out the gate. I did already find just like a simple hinge swing gate design, where you literally just take make a little rectangle, and then you put the little side thing through it, and that should end up working perfectly fine for us. But so far it's progressing along nice and quickly. I feel like since we already did it on that side, it's making it a lot faster getting done on this side, since we already know what we're doing, and it's just a bigger version of what we did over there. So pretty much, I think that's pretty much it for today then. Like I said earlier, we're not going to show too much of this process, because if you do want to see it, I would just go back and watch the other videos. But I think once we start putting in the slats, we'll actually go through and actually film us cutting, putting in the slats, all that kind of stuff. And then we did end up changing some other plans for the interior of the play area. So I'm going to turn you around to kind of go over that a little bit. Okay, so pretty much I'm standing at the back of where Terry will end up being at. The door is going to be on this side. So from about here all the way to, I'm assuming, about here-ish, this will end up all being cooking area. So we can probably get like a little mini table here, and then I was thinking of putting the grill over there, so that it's not up against Terry on this side, and then I can kind of, we can cook and grill and look out that way. Main reason that, so originally we were thinking about putting the play area here, so that when we step in we walk on grass, and then have the cooking area over there, and then you can kind of see all the mountains and stuff from cooking. But there's a lot of little stickers on our ground, so until we actually get rock, pretty much we don't want to track the stickers onto the grass. So on the other side where we had the play area previously, one thing we did do is that we reversed the cooking and the play area, so that rather than walking in through the gate, you would walk into the cooking area, you would walk through the gate and walk into the play area. And we noticed that we were tracking a lot of stickers onto the ground. So this time we figured that it would be beneficial for us to do the cooking area right at the gate and then the play area in the grass far away. But yeah, so far it is coming along. So we'll be back out again tomorrow to most likely aug out the 2 front corners, aug out the back corners, and then start tamping the rest of these bad boys in. So yeah. Okay, good morning. So Elijah went out this morning and he finished tamping in the rest of the posts. Remember how I showed you he got them to about half the level? So he got them all the way to ground level, fully tamped. We're gonna go out later and do the last 4 corners that we need to do. We need to aug them out, and then we also need to put the posts in the ground. And then since we did extend, we have to get 3 more brackets, and then we also have to get some extra wood for the slats because we don't have enough. But let me see if I can show you really quick. Here, look, you're currently looking out the kitchen window. Isn't that a great view from the kitchen window? But right over here is where you could see all the posts that are in the ground. It's kind of hard to see them because they're lined up, but those are all done. But as of this morning, we're gonna go ahead and we are going to get some breakfast started. I'm gonna be making some drop biscuits from scratch. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of drop biscuits, but they are the easiest way to make biscuits in a quick rush where you don't need like all the extra yeast and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to show you guys really quick how I make my drop biscuits, and then I don't know what I'll show you next. Okay, so drop biscuit 101. These ones will pretty much make about 8 biscuits. Sometimes I can get away with them making more, just depending on how big I end up making them, but it's a simple 5 ingredient recipe, so it's nice and it's super fat. So pretty much I have 2 cups of flour in here, and also this little unicorn girly made. We went to one of those little pottery places a while back with a friend, and she made herself a unicorn, so it lives in sight, so she knows I'm looking at it. So 2 cups of regular flour, and then we need some baking powder. So we're just going to do 1 tablespoon. So we're just going to do 1 tablespoon of baking powder in there. And then it does usually call for kosher salt, but I use just regular sea salt. Same thing like when I make my cookies and everything. I like sea salt over everything else. So it does call for 1 1/4 tablespoon. I'm just going to put in 1 teaspoon. Sorry, it calls for 1 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just going to put in 1 teaspoon because I'm using salted butter, and usually the recipe calls for unsalted butter. Okay, so I'm using salted butter, so that's why I ended up taking off the 1/4. You want to make sure that your butter is super chilled because that is basically what makes the recipe work. So this one, you'll just want to cut the butter into very small squares. And then we're using a cup of butter, so I have 2 sticks of butter. And then with these drop biscuits, you can pretty much add anything that you want in there with them. Cheese, to make them cheese flavored for dinner. You can put herbs in them. Pretty much it's just like a blank canvas. Okay, so now we have all the butter in there. I'm gonna wash my hands really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, and then the last thing that we're gonna add is milk. Just a cup of milk. Usually it says between 3/4 and 1 cup of milk, but I always use 1 cup. I'm using just regular almond milk. Fun fact about us is that we do not drink cow milk. We do eat regular cheese and we do eat stuff that has regular milk in it, but at home we keep almond milk in the fridge for any recipes and any cooking, because regular milk makes our tummies gurgle, so we stay away from regular milk. So we'll go ahead and pour that all in there. And then pretty much from here, you just mix it. I'm gonna mix it up and then I'll show you what the dough looks like after. Okay, so I went ahead and mixed everything up. So that's what it looks like. It's gonna be just like a giant dough ball with a bunch of huge pieces of chunks of butter in it. And then pretty much all you need is just a spoon. And then you're just going to just grab a chunk just like that, and then you just slap it on your baking sheet and then you just bake it. So we're gonna go ahead and bake this in the air fryer for 16 to 20 minutes on 450 degrees, and then I will show you what it looks like afterwards. Okay, hello. So we are back. We've been out here in and out pretty much all day, but we got a lot of stuff done today, and it's good stuff. So, like I said before, we aren't filming this part because you've already seen us do this part. And if you're new and you haven't seen us do this part, go back and watch the beginning of our RV pad series, and then you'll be able to see what we've done up to now. So, we have all but 3 posts in the ground. I'll explain why 2 of them are in the ground, and the last one is because of the stake is there, so we're going to do that one later. We have all but 3 of the posts in the ground. We also have some slats up. We also have moved Terry over here into his new permanent home, and yeah, it doesn't seem like we did a lot, but I swear we did a lot today because we had to move a bunch of stuff from that side of the property to this side. But Elijah is getting ready to go and grab us water because we are low on water. So he's going to go grab water really quick. I'm going to start making dinner. But before I do, I'm going to show you what we have going on in front of me right now that you can't see. So I'm going to turn you around. Okay, so ignore the mess, but okay, so this is what we got going on. So we have Terry now moved into his proper spot. We have all the posts in the ground. We just have to put that post in the ground over there. Put this post in the ground that's kind of hanging out in the hole over there. And then we have to still aug out this hole. This is our last hole that we have to aug out. But as you can see, the play area now stretches the length pretty much of Terry, which is a lot better because it's giving us a lot more space. And so over here is still where our gate's gonna go. I also went ahead and put all the galvanized brackets in. We still need to go back to the store and get 3 more, I believe, because we're short 3. Well, we were short 1, but now we're short an extra 2 because we extended. So we'll have to take care of that. But I did end up repurposing slats So this slat fit in perfectly, this slat fit in perfectly. These two were too long because there were some measurement issues on the other side. So now these are all equal distances apart. And then these two that over here, these are just going to be, I don't even know, scrap wood maybe, because they're way too short for all of these sections, because we did extend the other one at the last minute. It was smaller than this one, but it did make it so that we had a little bit of offies. So we'll just need to pick up a piece of wood for here and then a piece of wood for here. And then as you can see, we have this hole auged out. We'll have to put the post in there. We're going to end up concreting in this one because Terry's right here, so it's going to be hard to tamp it. We decided not to put the post. Oh, and then hold on, let me show you this one. And then the same thing with this one over here is that we're going to do concrete on this one since they're both up against Terry. But all the rest of them are tamped in by hand and they are sturdy and not going anywhere. So the two that are closest to Terry, we're going to end up concreting those in because we wanted to make sure that we could get that post right up against Terry. And one mistake that we did with the other side when we had the play area over there is that we put those posts in, and then we spent, when we first put Terry over there, we spent like an hour and a half, maybe an hour, trying to get Terry as close as possible, and it was so hard. And even with it us getting in as close as possible, we still maybe had like, I don't even know, like half a foot a gap between the fence and Terry, so we would have to put some type of mesh. So we figured on this side, so this is where the design changes come in to where it makes our lives easier. So we figured that we would put Terry into his spots, aug out the holes already, put him there, and then we can press the post up against Terry. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about really quick. As you can see, this is one of our posts, and so this post is going to end up going in the ground. It's probably going to be about right there up against Terry. And so there's barely like a little gap there between the two to where we won't have to worry about putting anything in there, because by the time we put Terry's skirting on and everything, you won't even be able to do that. So we tried to get it as close as possible, which it ended up working out for us this time. So we're excited about that. But I don't know, I'm going to step back really quick so you can kind of get a view of like the space, because I'm hoping that you can get a view of the space of how much larger it is. Okay, so that's kind of just like an overview. Like, it looks small on camera, but I swear it's not small. But we're excited that this is almost done. I think another design change that we might do, someone had mentioned it in the comments when we did our first one, and Elijah's thinking that he wants to do it, is putting a second board down here at the bottom, and then take the mesh into the ground, so to help with the kind of looseness of the boards. But yeah, Elijah's heading out right now. It's starting to get dark. The sun already set behind the mountains. Story of our lives. But I think that's all. Oh, let me show you also. I wish that it was super dark. Once the sun goes down a little bit, you'll be able to see it. But our neighbor gave... Okay, so my mic ended up dying, but pretty much what I am trying to tell you is that our neighbor gave us these lights. She gave us 4 of them, and they are motion censored. So when it gets dark, they turn on, but they also have different settings, and we have ours currently set on where it will turn on at nighttime, and then when it senses motion, it will get even brighter. So she mainly gave us these to put around Terry, so that, you know, we have small kids, so if we are outside a little bit later, it will alert us if something is inside the area that is not supposed to be there by getting extra bright, and then it just gives us a little extra light for us to see. But yeah, we like them so far. Okay, so since I don't know what else I was talking about in the video, I think I'm talking a little bit more about the lights, but I'm going to go ahead and end this video right here. I thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching, and I think in the next video, I'll skip putting on the mesh back up. I'll show you once it's finalized and put up, but I'll go ahead and definitely show you guys in detail when we start digging out for the pavers, and then also digging out for the grass for the play area. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.